Those are the other
We're
one.
watching Trio Abusers versus Chefs. It's the number 1 versus the number 4 seed. The Trio Abusers team is the team that's won 3 times in a row this event. So they're looking to go for the 4-peat here. And of course, they start off in their round 2 match here versus the Chefs, which is a team that is rather known on the whole. XenoGemini, notable goalie, and Hamster Quest as well coming in for this team. So should be an interesting roster and a lot of familiar faces around the high-level Omega Strikers scene. So this one should certainly deliver in terms of excitement.
I was about to say, it relatively known, but I mean, it gets even more so, of course, for the Trio Abusers here. And some mixed impressions on the band there, but inevitably ends up being the era. A little bit more confident on the rune, but I don't think we were going to see it anyways. I am, though, very pleased to see a Dubu goalie in the hands of YouAlreadyLose.
Let him skate. The ice skates Dubu coming out here, or at least I have to imagine that's going to be the case. Probably means we're seeing some kind of speed awakening on the starter awakening screen, and of course, we'll get that to you as soon as we know it. Juliet Jakar Atlas to round out the side for the Chefs, and of course, Trio Abusers actually going to be Vaughn on the Kai and Bells on the Estelle. Not necessarily a combination of these two we're used to seeing, but very exciting to see this more core control composition compared to just letting Bells run wild on the Juliet.
Okay, I am very interested to see the Dubu here on this map. I actually think it works the best when it comes to Ani Village. If you had to pick a map here, you can put your faith in to YouAlreadyLose. While Bells and Vaughn, they're going to double up on that mid line and make sure they lay it in. Kai and Juliet both propose to push that core into a great spot, play it with the advantage, utilize that extra range. That Rose Thorn so close at getting that second barrier.
Yeah, you're not going to get any cheesy saves around XenoGemini. Again, another respected goalie in his own right, this time on the Atlas here, which typically tends to be a favorite for Oni Village. But it is going to be the goal barriers going down, and now the Chefs have an opportunity on this net to attempt to score. Hamster Quest starting to move forward, lock and load, just quite out of range. YouAlreadyLose, try to send it around, but no, it still falls right back over the Descartes, who puts it back.
I could have literally sworn I could have seen YouAlreadyLose there literally stop in the middle of the match and probably open his settings. So I think adjusting, okay? Just things are cooking here. We are waiting for the Dubu. I mean, can't you tell he's terrified? He's behind a sheet.
Curious to see what the starter awakenings were, because I don't think we've gotten to see that. I'm breaking the fourth wall. Missile Prop Castellas are the starters. Right. 2 incredibly strong awakenings in their own right. And of course, not necessarily surprising to see the Missile Prop out of Trio Abusers. This team, again, probably trying to play for high amounts of core control on the whole, especially with just how fast the core is going to start moving on Oni Village, given the map changes that are recent to today's patch.
A little bit of savior play there from YouAlreadyLose to utilize that core flip. It's a nice piercing shot from Bells to pick up that first KO. That's going to lead that right into the face of Vaughn, and those who have not been defending are now punished.
Oh, beautiful play and capitalization there by Vaughn. A combination of utilizing all of those abilities, utilizing that barrage to keep the core in position, and then have the core flip at his disposal. Of course, with XenoGemini knocked off of the map, it's going to make that very easily. And now Bells comes up with a piercing shot for another power play advantage here. YouAlreadyLose goes up to the midfield line. This is the Ice Skates Dubu having a presence, and it keeps the core forward here. The core will still find the net.
Mind you, Vaughn laying in with the Giga Blast there from afar, racking up the KO, padding the stats there. A little bit of that Sony salute in the face of what might just be the final necessary goal. It is a very fast core that finds double barriers here, but Xeno, YouAlreadyLose, more than prepared to stand steadfast. Play this one out.
Again, you talk about how fast that core is moving. It's something that these players also have to adjust to, because that change just happened today, folks. Their eyes did not deceive you. That was not a bug. That was intentional. Now, we see 1-for-1 trades here on the KOs as Bells is able to find yet another piercing shot, tries to use the crystallized thorns, interrupting Switch's ability to start putting this core to the net. Now, piercing shot comes again, stuns XenoGemini back, but no, falls apart there, as now we see the respawns coming back in. Hamster Quest trying to stuff it back. Vaughn, notably though, defending the lower side of the net as well, making sure that this goal doesn't go in.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. In the face of a Juliet and a Drakkar, it's about as bad as it gets. It's a little bit of an odd positioning with the Tofu Fortress, but it works out here. Almost seemed like that could have gone worse for wear. Nice block from XenoGemini, keeping that last barrier up. Once again, this is going to hopefully allow Hamster Quest Switch to reset, play this one forward, look for, once again, some of those combos that can allow them to send this goal in.
So close there by Switch, just doesn't quite find the strike to the corner, and then the dash punch just out of range. Now can't keep the pressure up. Still, though, decent core control coming out of the chef so far. But as I say that, other goal barrier falls. Of course, Vaughn has, or Bell, excuse me, has the energy burst to try to get that core flip in, but no, is still going to be defended. And XenoGemini still has that energy burst up for himself as well. Pass forward, uses the primary to try to send it away. Passing plays, dribbles off the corner. But again, Bell still can't find a way to put it back. Now piercing shot to himself, doesn't find it. Energy flip out of Vaughn, core flip out. That'll get right over to XenoGemini, who tries to clear it to the top side, but Bells is right there, and the trio abusers will take the first set.
I like that from Bells. He goes for the double bounce off of the wall, sends it back into himself. The fast reset, a little too much for XenoGemini to handle here. Now, notably, it is going to be Vaughn and our opposing forward, Bells, who kind of get the majority of our Awakenings pick. That quick strike, even as infinite, though, is still just too good to pass up.
Yeah, too good to pass up here out of Vaughn, who again, I mean, we've seen these energy bursts get utilized in very strong ways. So anytime that you have the opportunity to pick up even more energy, especially with potentially getting more energy-based awakenings that we might see on later carousels as well, that could come in clutch there.
Lots of great awakenings for just about everyone here, keeping it fairly even in terms of that kind of level up in our intermission. Meanwhile, back to your pace of play as we enter our next set here. Once again, barrier already lost. Switch and Hamster doing a great job to step up, apply that forward pressure. But the minute it slides away, you can see how many gaps they leave open by being so forward.
Yeah, then those goal barriers going to start to fall. XenoGemini has to try to find clear angles, and there it does. But still, possession to the trio abusers. There is the Expanse already burned here out of XenoGemini. Crystal Thorns, the Discipline comes in from the strike there as well. Again, XenoGemini has core flip up and at his disposal. That is his last get out of jail free card that is still there. And now nice Rose Warp tries to put up the pressure. Will finally get that core flip out of XenoGemini. But even still, possessions on over to the trio abusers, and Vaughn's going to dribble to build up some energy here.
Woo! Set that one up there, but it's just in the nick of time. Bells with a launching attack, I believe, off that Rose Warp. Blocks and dodges past the Astral Projection to find their first goal.
Yeah, beautifully played there by Bells. And again, you know, it's this combination of forwards for the trio abusers. Vaughn and Bells have been playing with one another for a long while. And I think if they played together more consistently outside of just Primetime Tuesdays, they'd probably undoubtedly be a lot of people's best forward duos with their synergy, and again, being able to expect how each other plays and their communication that comes in as well. So that Rose Warp, a testament to all of that. And now look at this, keeping up the pressure, looking for the goal here, and it sneaks right around that projection once more. Vaughn credited with that one, and again, will put him up the set point.
Once again, the trio abusers looking to deliver in the history that they have made here in all of our previous Primetimes. That, oh gosh, Vaughn. A bit of a whiff, the core energy there. I like that emote. I don't know where that emote is from, but I want the dog. Oh, just, okay. Oh. It's mental reset for Vaughn. He'll come back around in about 8 seconds or so.
Energy burst out of YouAlreadyLose, also baited here, and now on the power play, we're able to take both goal barriers, but now haven't been able to find this goal. It'll be Bell still dribbling the core, looking for that final barrier, and still playing so well in order to just continue to keep passing it to himself, put it in positions where neither Hamster Quest or Switch can really get the redirect that they want. Now, forward here, Hamster Quest gonna be able to finally shove that one back. Still has energy burst at his disposal as well. We'll have to see when he decides to use that here.
At a certain point, you just gotta lay it in. I know different individuals have varying degrees of opinion regarding saving energy, looking for that core flip at any given point. But I mean, personally, I'm of the mindset, just get it out there. Play for pressure, play for an advantage. XenoGemini should hold on to it, but if you're forward, I mean, make it work for you.
Certainly will be looking to do that now with one goal barrier down. Potential ideas here, but Hamster Quest not find the connection over to Switch, and possession will change hands 2 times. Now, again, that lock and load shotgun. This is why Drakar's used in these instances. But if anyone knows how to play against the Drakar, it's probably Vaughn, who used to play the striker himself.
See if he can step up, lay that in. A good barrage will pull that one back over, but Switch is in the ever-waiting arms. And here's the thing about that Ani Village. Sometimes you get into a little bit of that loop-de-loop. Double Rose Thorn piercing shot into that Celestial Expanse, and it is a nice fiery fist from Switch that actually allows them to find the responsive barrier. Tried to pop at the core flip, but it doesn't quite land as quickly. Step that one up from Vaughn, and yes, they will receive it, but can they look for the goal?
What a Rose Whoop forward out of Bells. You know, you can't oftentimes control that projectile that comes out of that Rose Warp, but when you can, it'll make miracles happen for you. Bells gets MVP for the set, rightfully so. And now we see the Awakenings come out. 2 new Awakenings. One of them, this Reverberation on Infinite, but Egoist is also up, and that'll be exactly what Bells opts to take first.
Still, Glass Cannon and so many of these others, very, very good picks. The Chrono Boost, of course, coming out there for Vaughn. I'm curious, everyone kind of stamping away. No expedient cooldown there. Timeless Creator, not going to be landing in the hands of that Atlas. And, I mean, yeah, I'd say take Reverberation. Go ahead. See if you can make that extra cooldown work.
And look, I mean, if it's anything that the Atlas wants, certainly it is extra cooldowns. If you can't get creation size, at least get those extra cooldowns to have those creations up more frequently. Most notably, that Expanse, which you already see, has at least 1 size awakening and is able to put in. But now, without that, it's going to be a little bit more of a sitting duck, especially on an open net. But now Goldbear is both going to follow the other side of the pitch as well. Now passing play, looking for this one, but the barrage will interrupt it, at least temporarily. Hamster Quest looking for this. No, that one will finally get sent away once again by YouAlreadyLose. And the Expanse is forced out once again. Can they keep core control? The chefs need to start cooking, need to start serving up these passing plays to one another, but still the interruptions are there out of the trio abusers.
Just barely does Hamster Quest find that bounce off the wall to keep that core in play. Tofu Fortress on the opposite end doesn't quite land it just yet, and a multi-core will slow things down for now, but look at how fast YouAlreadyLoses. This man is moving miles ahead of the rest alongside that core. Maybe overtime will start saying this, but that is a huge numbers advantage for the trio abusers.
It's the Ice Skates Dubu from YouAlreadyLose now is online and is able to find the ability to send that clear over towards Vaughn's direction and then cross up XenoGemini there on the goal line. Again, we were talking about it, and it finally took shape where that Atlas goalie will be a little bit more vulnerable without cooldowns. It's true for the Dubu as well, but we'll see if he can try to keep up the speed and try to match some of these clears, because again, the passing plays from the trio abusers, this forward duo that's worked together for so long, are coming together, and I fear that maybe Switch and Hamster Quest haven't played all of that much together, but now we're finally starting to see some of these passes come together for the two of them.
All right. Double berries down. This might be the first time we see this opportunity come through in this set. Hamster Quest Switch, they have the forward pressure. It is going to be that core flip expended. Xeno, though, trying to push that one just as quickly back. Switch is so low. To get a KO here would be huge, especially if he don't get to use that core flip.
Beautifully done there by Switch. Again, all about being in the right position at the right time and core flipping in front of the net. It makes it a that shootout in soccer or something where you've got to pick which side of the net you're going to cover. And of course, it's all a matter of striking when it comes down to that. But a KO comes out here. And again, the chefs might be looking to try to take this second barrier down instantly.
Already right off the bat, we're starting to see this catch-up period for Hamster Quest and Switch. This is that forward momentum that makes these two such a dastardly combo. Vaughn and Bells, though, especially with that revive, now ready to play this one forward. Xeno gonna have to keep up that tempo.
Bells now looking to try to keep this one here, and Crystallized Thorns not getting as much pressure as Bells might have liked overall. Again, still being able to get sent away by a lot of these abilities from XenoGemini, and now Vaughn on the dribble to himself will be able to try to keep this one and turn it around here. Bell's looking for this as well, but again, you'll notice Pleasure playing with time, and at this point, Vaughn's just charging up the energy burst. That's all he's doing. It's going to be like triple energy burst up pretty soon for the trio abusers, but the last goal barrier is going to fall here. Switch and the cross up on the passing play as well, and for the first time in a set, they're ahead.
I was going to say a little bit of playing with your food there, and Switch, well, much to the namesake, switches it up. One good goal. Keep the Chefs back into this one here. Vaughn and Bells, though, all they need is a little bit more of that pacing that we saw from earlier to get them in. It's been very difficult for them to kind of get past Switch and Hamster. I like the Tofu Fortress a little close there, but it keeps it in.
And if you're the Chefs in that position, what do? You can't send it right back into that corner because it's going to hit the Tofu Fortress and come right back barreling towards your own goal barrier. So good on them to play a little bit more patiently there. But now Switch in position, looking for this goal barrier, maybe even looking for the knockout towards the Dubu. But no, we'll save the rest of the cooldowns for now. Bells now burns the core flip, doesn't have that at his disposal. And all of a sudden, maybe the tables have turned here a little bit. Hamster Quest looking for the passes up on above. There it is, coming through together, and Bells with a piercing shot. That one's going to hit their own goal barrier. Might be the opportunity here that they're looking for, but the pumpkins of the Tofu Fortress will interrupt things for a moment. The expand still used, Gemini able to use that, but the deny of the corn flip coming out of Vaughn. But it doesn't even matter, because what an ultimate of the Molten Bolt that comes out of Hamster Quest secures the set for the Chefs and keeps them alive here on this game.
From a distance, sends that one forward there, keeping, like you said, the Chefs in it, and none other, of course, than Hamster Quest. Gonna get that first pick, and as you can already see from our producers, we'll take a little bit of time to note that, yes, Fire Up is now here to stay as well, and for those who don't know, a little bit of the extra energy and restoration and catalyst down there as an infinite, something that everyone needs to take a look at, getting all that extra potential just from your hits alone.
And look, the True Abusers have been trying to play a very energy burst heavy game. So all of these awakenings now that are finally coming in from them, Egoist, Fire Up, all of these things that are coming together are going to play to that name. The reason they're passing for one another and the reason why they're just dribbling it off of the walls a bunch is so that Vaughn is continuing to build up that energy burst. And now that even Bells has Fire Up at his disposal, it'll be another thing to go around once they have some of these energy bursts online. You're getting to see them get very close.
And that will hopefully maybe even put Trio Bruisers back in a good position here. But we talk about Tempo Swing and a few others. It's just more momentum for the Chefs to find what they need.
I'll tell you what, that has to be one of the most satisfying shots. Being able to get that, squeak that in the second that the goal gates start to open there in front of the net. Beautiful shot by Hamster Quest to put it back. And again, keeping them ahead here. We'll see if they can try to keep this one going, but the knockouts aren't coming through. And now we're starting to see this come together as now Bells has so much speed, also has that energy burst at his disposal that'll probably feed to the speed boost of a lot of these other players on his team. We'll see if they're able to put something together here as now there it is. And look at how fast these players are moving, Zephyr.
It's been a while since we've seen Barrier down with the Rose Warp in perfect position. Bells is quick to bite back. Find that one in there and even up this scoreline. Doesn't want to see a lead anytime soon here. Some Omega levels just starting to be hit across the board. Vaughn has been on this one for a while, Cranton. A lot of bouncing and blocking. Meanwhile, double core flip available for the side of the Trio Abusers, especially in the face of one barrier both sides.
Now looking for the pass, Hamster Quest up to Switch, but that'll backfire as Bells gets into position, takes care of that last goal barrier as well, and it's XenoGemini in the open net here, does have core flip, but that expanse still so large. Got exactly the trainings that he wanted back there on this Atlas. Looking for this play, the forward combination. Switch is going to be able to find the KO, now on a 4 KO streak. Vaughn's out of the picture for now, but again, they have to pass it right back up because Hamster Quest is not fully in position, blocked out of the way by Bells and YouAlreadyLose. Somersault comes out, his core flip, waiting for this one, denies. The XTD comes out because Hamster Quest knows he could have been a play, but at the end of the day, it would have been incredibly risky. But still, possession challenged both sides.
Ooh.
What a Tofu Fortress. Again, blocking off this corner. The core flip comes out. Double energy burst burn. And Hamster Quest is there to pick it up. Beautiful defense comes out here, but now we'll see if they can finally put it away.
I like the fact that they find the barrier off of that one. It feels like a good result of everything they had to contest with, straight into the hands of XenoGemini. Vels looking to get that bounce back pass that we saw from earlier today in the game. And with that flying fist of fury, Switch will send that in with one good combo.
If I had a nickel for every time I've seen a Juliet make that kind of a play off of the corner, I would have a lot of nickels, is for sure. That's the tried and true classic right there.
Yep.
YouAlreadyLose can only do so much with that Summer Assault to stop that core once. But now, once again, 2 core flips at the disposal of the trio abusers. Neither one of them on Bells with the fire up, but instead, he's going to find a KO. Now it's Bells as well on the 4 KO streak here. Still, both these players on these forward positions getting the best of their opponents. And now, finally, this last goal barrier goes down. YouAlreadyLose forward here.
Oh,
with the
no!
flip. Not going to connect with it this time around. And now we'll make that walk right on back to that. But again, has the speed in order to do that.
I will say something that I really liked from trio abusers here, at least in this first matchup, was the fact that they found that early KO. It relieved so much pressure that Hamster Quest has been applying. And with that barrage, they find a response, tie this one up. They put Chefs back up against the wall here. One good score to do them in.
We'll see if they can find this here, if we'll be heading to another thing. And hey, look, maybe this energy burst Awakenings route didn't fully pay off the way that they would have liked, because now they've got XenoGemini with enough tools and enough cooldown reduction at his disposal in order to try to send things away. But as I say that, both goal barriers fall. Nice expand comes out. Piercing shot will put it back from Bells and put the trio abusers again 2-0 in the Swiss stage.
Hey, it might have been a little bit delayed there, but I like the fact that we got to see the Chefs cook in the end here. Still, your big winners, the trio abusers, now 2-0 up in our Swiss brackets. Obviously, Vaughn, your MVP. Let's take a look at those stats, see exactly how far and above the rest.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for Hamster Quest because he put on an immaculate showing here for the Chefs.
Yeah, and I think, again, at the end of the day, it's something where certainly the Chefs roster looks like it's going to be able to come together, but they probably haven't played all that much together, right? Hamster Quest is kind of one of these people that's floated around a little bit. XenoGemini has a different roster that he's been competing with for quite some time. So when you don't have the same synergy that this trio abusers roster has, because again, they're called the trio abusers because the 3 of them would queue in Omega ranks back in beta and just continually climb the ladder and inflate their own scores. So these players have been playing together for an awful long time, and I think that discipline really showed through in this game. That, of course, Vaughn, of course, you're going to get the MVP when you get 216 redirects, often based off of the fact that you were just dribbling to yourself up off the wall all the time. But nonetheless, of course,
strategy
still comes together. Strategy, right. My bad. Strategy.
Hey, it is. If you can delay action there and set yourself up for greatness, there is nothing to contest against Vaughn here in terms of that play. But we want to make a quick shout out. Obviously, we do have a B stream here on the Primetime Tuesdays. You can check it out at Read the Sloth. There's officially a link in chat here. Right now, I believe you'll be catching, what is it, the Powerhouse Defenders versus the LP Thieves. So if you don't like us, and you don't like what we're saying, and you don't like these matches, go check it out.
And honestly, you don't have to like what I'm saying, because I'm only like a mid-gold caster. So what do I actually know about how the game is played? I just shout about it sometimes, and maybe half the time I'll be right, half the time I'll be wrong. But nonetheless, go check out that B stream, especially while we head off to a break as we set up for our round 3 in the Swiss stage for the East. Again, you're watching Primetime Tuesdays, hosted by Vodible.